Good day, everyone. I'm your moderator, Lee Judge, and welcome to today's webinar entitled, Why Agent Guidance is Now Customer Interaction Design, brought to you by Jacada. As a note, to honor the privacy of our attendees, only your name will appear in the attendee window. Our presenter today is Chris Dutoy, CMO of Jacada. Today we will discuss new developments in agent guidance technology. Also how to offer instant contextual guidance during the call so that your agents always know the next best action and can easily troubleshoot problems and avoid legal problems and get the most out of each call. Following the presentation, there will be a question and answer session, so please feel free to type your questions in the Q&A window at any time during the event. Again, to honor the privacy of our attendees, only your name will appear in the attendee window. So let's begin. Chris, the presentation is all yours.
Great. Thank you very much, Lee, and it's great to be here today, and thanks everybody for joining in on this webinar on agent scripting. It should be a pretty quick webinar. I think we'll get you in and out here in the next 30 minutes, and we really want to spend most of the time showing the product and showing you how you can build these agent scripts. I thought before I get into the demonstration, it'll be good to just maybe level set what we call agent scripting and what we mean by agent scripting. And perhaps the best place is to even start why agent scripting. And for those of you, who manage people in the contact center or have been in a contact center, maybe you were an agent at some point, you know how difficult it is. Honestly, it's probably one of the most difficult jobs that there is. The reason being, we know they have to manage multiple applications on the desktop. It's very stressful. They're alt-tabbing between these different applications, needing to follow company procedures and regulations and laws. And everything we hear from our customers is that this is only getting more complicated. Call types are getting more complicated. It's certainly not getting easier. So it's not easy. And as if that wasn't bad enough, they're also being measured on how long they're on the call, whether they resolve the call correctly the first time, and, oh, by the way, customer satisfaction as well. So you're juggling all these applications and following procedures while being measured in a very metric-driven environment. So the net result, of course, as we all know, is it's no wonder that agent training time is measured in weeks and months, not days. It takes a long time for an agent to be productive on the floor. It results in high agent turnover. It's not uncommon to see 80, 90, 100% turnover in these environments because of the stressful nature of the job. And with that high turnover, with the high training time, it's an expensive formula. And a large number of call escalations that's affecting us as consumers, where the level 1 agent really just takes basic information and then needs to escalate us to a level 2 agent. It's somewhat of a frustrating customer experience as well. So with agent scripting, we've implemented it at customers globally. These are the kind of results we see, and these are taken from actual implementations. First is the reduction in escalation of calls from level 1 to level 2 support. This was implemented, we'll do a little case study here at the end. It was implemented by a large telco corporation in the tech support group, where many of their calls couldn't be resolved by the level 1 agents and had to be escalated to level 2 agents, where the call then started from scratch again. So by implementing guidance and scripting, they were actually able to have the level 1 agents handle that many more calls, resulting in 50% fewer escalations. In addition, first call resolution improved by at least 30%, in some cases more, and an average handle time reduction of 20%. Now, we know in the contact center how people live and die by average handle time, so 20% reduction is certainly good ROI. And then I mentioned that complex agent training times. The good thing about implementing agent guidance or agent scripting is getting up to 70% reduction in that agent training time, because agents are really now being guided in the process. So what is Jacada agent scripting? We know about agent scripting and agent guidance, but how do we define it, and what is the product that we'll be demonstrating here? It's to offer intelligent, context-aware, and integrated guidance for your agent. Now, a little bit of a mouthful, but those words are important. First, it's context aware, meaning the script doesn't just run blindly. Anybody can follow a Word document. That is not a good agent guidance solution. It has to be aware of the context of the customer, what steps the customer has already tried or performed, data about the customer, and it needs to be integrated into your back-end system so that you can actually be transactional, pull data out of your CRM or your billing system or whatever system you need to complete an actual transaction. So it's more than just, following a static document. And this allows agents to know what to offer as well as when and how to say it without sounding scripted. And this is important because nobody wants to be talking to a robot. It needs to be a natural conversation with empathy at the appropriate points, and that's what the agent guidance solution offers. Finally, the business agility needs to be there. We believe that scripting for your agents should be owned by the subject matter experts, and that may or may not be your IT people, but we can free up your IT resources to be working on the more thorny or complex IT issues and allow your subject matter experts or your business to take ownership of the actual scripts and interactions with your customers. And that's what you will see today, is the design environment was built with this in mind to allow it to be scripts to be built by the business. So with that, let me go ahead and go into a demonstration. This is a live demonstration, and for everybody on this webinar, it's a pretty healthy attendance rate here. We'll send you a link where you can actually try a free trial, and you'll be able to do everything that I'm doing here today. You'll be able to try it as well yourself and actually push out the scripts and see what they look like. So with that, let me switch over to the design environment. As you'll see, it is a web-based environment, so there is nothing to install. There's nothing to install for you as the person building the scripts, and there's nothing to install for the agents to receive the scripts. It will be running, as long as they have a browser on the desktop, they'll be able to access these scripts. So the best way to sort of just familiarize yourself with this environment and for me to give you a sense of how it works is just by building a couple of steps in a sample interaction, and that'll give you a little flavor for it, and then we'll explore some of the more sophisticated features. So let me start off with a new interaction, and we'll call this webinar test. I'll go ahead and click create. And you can see I'm presented here with this kind of empty canvas where I can now start building my script. We got little helpful hints along the way, so if you're a first-time user, you'll be guided as to how you can build your interaction. Over here, I'm really being offered, I can create a visual page or do some kind of logic, and maybe that's sending an email or making a decision, etc. And we'll explore a few of those. But let's start off and create a new page. So get rid of the little helpful hint. We'll give the page a name. I'm going to call this welcome. And let's put some choices up here. And it defaults to a couple of ones so we can just see how it works. But let's say, thank you. How may I help you today? And then the choices we're going to present for our agent to read to the customer is account service, cancellation, and I don't know, let's just do address change. Obviously somewhat trivializing this, just giving 3 options. Let's go ahead and create that page, and you can see my interaction is starting to take shape. Now in fact, I can actually go ahead and run this, and you'll see this showing up here as a little preview so you can see what your agent might see for the script. And obviously there's the thank you, how may I help you, and we have the 3 options. Now our interaction doesn't do much yet, so let's kind of expand upon that. If you do choose account service, I'm going to go ahead and create a new page, and I'm going to ask for your account number. So let's call this account number, and we'll do this element, which is to gather input from the user. So we'll say, may I have your account number? Now, because I'm asking for information, I need to just save it somewhere. So I'm going to save it into a variable called account number, and then I can just go ahead and click create page. So if you come down the account service branch, we're going to now ask for the account number. Now, I actually want to show you some logic or decision kind of capabilities. We want to say, for certain VIP customers, we take them down one call flow, and for other customers, we want to take them down a different call flow. So let's go ahead and look at some of the navigation logic. We can send emails, we can integrate to your CRM or other systems, but what I want to do right now is use this decision node. So I'm going to click decision, and we'll call this is VIP customer. So for this one, let's just assume that if the account number they provided, that for our VIP customers, we start them, they have different prefix to the accounts. So let's say that for accounts starting with 500, these are VIP customers. Now, obviously, this would probably be more of an attribute you get from your CRM system, but the point that you'll see is that you can do logic inside your flows. So for this example, we'll just say any account number starting with 500 is a VIP. So we'll create that decision node. Now you can see what's happening here in my script. We ask for the account number, and then we make this decision. Is VIP true or false? And if you're true, you come down this part of the flow, and if not, you come down this part of the flow. So let's go ahead and create a new page for our VIP customers. Now here you might do a special offer or whatever you decide, offer them a coupon, maybe it's a 10% coupon on their next order. But I'll just say thank you for being a VIP customer, and then we would do something in this stage for right now. Let me just present some text. So you can see if you're a VIP customer, you're going to come down this branch. If you're not a VIP customer, we'll go down this branch. Let's just finish our VIP customer flow. We'll create yet another page, and we'll do, account service. And here we would maybe, update or do the balance inquiry or update the address, whatever they're wanting to do. So let's just say this is a placeholder for servicing the account. And I'll go ahead and create that page. Now, if they're not a VIP customer, I'm going to skip that VIP customer stage. So here I'm just going to connect them straight into that account service. So there we go. Now you can see the flow. So let's go ahead and run this one again. So we know we've got these three choices: account service, cancellation, or address change. I'm going to choose account service. And if I go to the next step, you would expect it to ask me for the account number. So let's go ahead, click next. Yep, it asks for your account number. So remember, we said our logic here was any account starting with 500 or VIP. So let's just try non-VIP. So if we do account number 100, 123, and we click next, you can see we followed this branch down, the false branch, and it says, this is a placeholder for servicing the account. Let me go back and let's type in a VIP account number 500 1234, and we click next, and you can see here it went to the VIP route. Thank you for being a VIP customer, and now we can present a coupon code, etc., and then go into the regular account servicing. So you can see it's a very graphical manner in which you build these interactions out. You can do back-end integrations and a lot more. I'm not going to continue building this interaction because I think that gives you a sense of how quickly it is to build these interactions and how non-technical it really is. We do come with a couple of interactions to get you started as well, so you can play around. For example, here's a getting started interaction. This one is actually calling a back-end system, so you can see how integration might work into your CRM system. In this case, we look to see if you're an existing customer by looking you up in the CRM system. And if you are an existing customer, we retrieve your orders, and then we can show the different orders, and then get into a main menu where we offer you the ability to maybe reset your password, update your information, etc. So a whole range of sample types of elements that we're using in this one. For any one of them, you can double click it, and then you can just see you can stack these elements together. So certainly, you can add as many of these elements as you want and really build your form in this kind of graphical WYSIWYG manner. So let me go ahead. I can run that, and here you can see we can provide some information, so account IDs, etc., and walk through the flow. So in this case, this is an existing customer, and it retrieves the orders for that customer. You can see here's my recent orders, and then we can go into the main menu. Now this one starts showing you how you can start styling, putting iconography and so forth on the screen as well, to just make it easier for your agents to quickly get to where they're needing. But hopefully this kind of gives you a sense of, by providing this guided script that's actually integrated to your backend systems, how it makes the life of the agent that much easier, because you can really walk them through the ideal procedures. We often use the term replicating your best agents or cloning your best agents, because finding what makes certain agents successful and really distilling that knowledge into more of a formalized guide, really that can then be deployed to all your other customers. If you do sign up for a trial, you'll see, we've got demos by different verticals. For example, here's a banking demo as well. We've got telecommunications demo, retail demo, etc. So regardless of the vertical you're in, you should be able to find some kind of sample interaction that mirrors the use case that you're interested in modeling. Now, one of the interesting things about agent scripting, and this is really a key point, yes, we've built scripts for the agent, and you can see the sample running here on the right. But with this very same product and the same designer, you can take these same interactions and you can actually expose them directly to your customers as a self-service interaction. And as an example, you can see when I choose to run this, I can run this as a web self-service application or as a mobile web application, so that you can take these, what would have been an inbound call, you can actually push these as a self-service interaction and hopefully avoid that call coming in the first place. So I want to do a couple of just one little thing to show you that. Let's go to that VIP customer node. If you're a VIP customer, let's go ahead, and if you look here, there's an option here, enable call now. So as a VIP customer, when I'm pushing this as a self-service interaction, it doesn't make much sense in an agent interaction, but for a self-service interaction, I'm enabling the call now button as a VIP customer. So now let's go ahead and run this as a web self-service application, or even as a mobile web app, so you can give this to your callers. This is how it would look on the mobile phone. So now this is not an agent script. This is me on your website or on your mobile application trying to self-serve and order my own product or do my own account inquiry. So I can do account service, click next. I'm a VIP, so it was account number starting with 500. And you'll see what popped up here at the bottom is a little telephone icon. So as a VIP customer, I've been given the option of actually getting connectivity to an agent now, where if I went down the non-VIP route, I wouldn't get that connection. Just an example, of course, but it is a key point that you can actually take these interactions and either run them on the agent desktop, run them as a web self-service application, or push them out to your mobile device for your mobile callers. So you have multiple options. It really is kind of the right once, run everywhere kind of scenario. So I do encourage you to sign up for a trial and just actually play with it. We do have a customer success manager who will be assigned to you, who's available to you to just help you build these interactions, even as part of your trial, just to make sure that you're successful with it. It's also integrated with Zendesk and ticketing systems, but if you are a Zendesk customer, you can find us in the Zendesk app store and install it that way, and use it for ticket triage to know when to create a ticket or when to assign a ticket to level 2 directly, etc. So certainly for the Zendesk customers, look us up on the Zendesk store as well. So let me just quickly, having shown you the product there very quickly, let's just recap the things that you did see. You saw the graphical drag and drop script builder. You saw me just dragging the nodes and connecting the lines. It's really very easy to do. It is web-based, as I mentioned, so your agents don't need to have a new desktop installed. They just need access to a browser. And we do have analytics, and I'll show you that here in a second, because it's a very cool feature to allow continuous improvement. There are widgets. You saw a couple of the widgets. I used a choice widget and an input widget, etc. But you can certainly, there's a whole library of widgets, and you can extend it and build your own. We also provide a call summary, so we can automatically disposition your systems, your order entry system or your CRM system with the call types, and we can make sure that your workflow goes through an approval process. So maybe you have a subject matter expert create the interaction, and then they publish it, and then somebody approves it, and then it's available for your agents live, with the next call coming in. Now, I did mention the auditing and the reporting. This is the kind of heat maps that we generate, where graphically you can see how are your call trees behaving. You can see, for example, which path are agents following most. How long are agents taking past to get, to get past a certain step? Is it taking too long? Or is it taking too short? We know, for example, in the healthcare space, they may be required to read a lengthy HIPAA compliance statement, but if you see here that it's taking 0.2 seconds, they're probably not reading that statement. So you can use it for compliance purposes and really just get a sense of how your agents are working. More interesting, you can see, for example, where call escalations are happening, because this is very important as well. You can start adjusting your call flows when you realize that, okay, at this particular step, most people are abandoning and escalating to a level 2 agent. Why is that? What is the cause for that? So you can do kind of root cause analysis, make changes, and then push out a new version of the interaction, and then continue to monitor it and see how that behaves. And then, of course, the standard dashboards and usage reports, performance monitoring, everything that you would expect, just to get a sense of how that's being deployed in your organization. Very briefly, a case study. This is O2, part of the Telefonica group out of the UK. This was very much a grassroots initiative in that it was the level 2 support engineers decided to try this to create scripts for the level 1 engineers. So they kind of just built them by themselves and pushed it out and said, okay, level 1 guys, try this script when the next call comes in. And they did this, and the results were really quite remarkable, because the level 1 support engineers were now so much more empowered and had so much more information and, the point of this whole thing, so much more guidance available to them. They were able to reduce call escalations from level 1 to level 2 by over 50%. So it's pretty remarkable. The 25% increase in RFT, this is really the equivalent of first call resolution. Avoiding those callbacks, and that of course is an important metrics. And then the training is 40% reduction in agent training time. You can imagine when an agent is guided with a script like this, it just becomes that much easier versus consulting 20 different knowledge bases and so forth. And many of our implementations do exactly that. They take what was lengthy knowledge base articles and they actually translate it into transactional scripts. So instead of having the agent consult a knowledge base article, reading a lot of information while the customer is on the line, it now becomes a simple transaction, and the agent just types in some information and hits next, and the agent scripting will update all those different back-end systems and create the orders and so forth. So very transactional and certainly much more efficient than a knowledge base. I think the benefits are pretty self-evident. Just to recap, of course, the benefits for your customer and for your business. Customers, for all of us, right, we want those calls to be quick. We want them to be efficient. We don't want those calls to be escalated. If they do get escalated, we certainly don't want to repeat ourselves. We hate repeating ourselves. And with agent scripting, if a call does get escalated, the full context of that information carries forward to the next agent. So there is no repeating of information. They see everything that's there. On the business side, again, the ROI is pretty compelling. It's normally never a problem to put an ROI model behind this. You're talking about dramatically reduced agent training time. Think about your own organization. If you can take it from months to days or weeks, shorter call times, saving 5, 10, 20% average handle time, it's very compelling ROI. And if you can reduce escalations, typically if you're in a tech support kind of environment, your level 2 engineers come at a higher price than your level 1 engineers. So reducing those number of escalations to level 2 frees up the level 2 guys for the really complex calls. And the nice thing here is, of course, you can enforce best practices. If you know, in your industry you've got certain HIPAA requirements or PCI requirements or privacy requirements, any kind of regulatory or legal requirements, you can enforce that in the agent guidance versus allowing the agent to sort of just make decisions by themselves that may not be appropriate at that time. And then use the analytics to show the problem areas and continue to refine and continue to improve. So we are coming to the end of this. I did promise to get you in and out within 30 minutes. Please, by all means, visit jacada.com and try the free trial. I think you'll enjoy it. And then we'll take some questions here if there are. I see a couple of questions coming in, actually. So Lee, maybe I'll turn that back to you, and we can address some questions.
Yeah, before we get there, I want to, of course, thank you, Chris, for your valuable insights on customer interaction design. Due to the participation rate, we want to make sure we answer as many questions as we can, and the ones we don't get to now during the event, we will respond to you after the event via email. So I'll pull some questions here, Chris. The first one we'll go to says, how do I integrate this into our existing agent desktop?
Yeah, so I mean, at the most simplistic level, you don't need any agent desktop in that you only need a browser to actually see these scripts. But I'm guessing from the question, this person is asking that they've already got an agent desktop. Maybe it's Cisco or Finesse or something. It'll just add in as a tab or a window in your existing desktop. So you don't need to replace your desktop.
Okay, that might actually answer the next question that came in about how much does it take to actually integrate it with your CRM system?
Yeah, so there's an IT function involved in the beginning to set this up, and we do this by design. We create what we call integration points, and an integration point might be to your CRM system or to your billing system, etc. The reason for doing it is now, as a script designer, it just shows up as a convenient widget, so I can drag the CRM widget onto my screen and get customer information, update customer order, etc., without knowing or caring about the back-end complexity. So we obviously have integration to a number of systems, but our customers can also create their own integration points. It's typically standard web service, REST type integration technology.
Okay. Now, as I pick some of these, Chris, be sure to look in the Q&A window. If there's any there you want to answer directly or pick out of the Q&A, please interrupt me and go ahead. I'll grab one more here. It says, in your experience, who really builds the interactions, business or IT?
Yeah, it's a good question. We obviously show the value that it can be done by the business. In most cases, I would say that is true in that mostly it is the business building it. There are some environments where IT continue to take ownership of everything in the contact center. So it's a mix, but if I had to wager a guess, I'd say 70–80% owned by the business, or at least subject matter experts.
Okay. A question about the demo. The person asks, when you showed the product, you said something about also using it on the web. If they understood correctly, they want you to elaborate some more on that, on using it on the web.
Yeah, this is, if you're looking to deploy self-service type interactions, we have a common platform we call Jacada Interact, and what this allows you to do, what I showed you today, of course, was agent scripting. But that same design environment, in fact, those same scripts you build, you can actually use it on using the separate module on Interact, use it as a web self-service function as well. So our whole mantra is trying to reduce inbound call volume, and if you can improve self-service, that would be great. Okay. Lee, sorry, I saw another one come in here. Lisa asked about the training procedure. So I'll read that one. This is, what is the training procedure like in the transition period between staff training and go live? Great question. So different people approach it in different ways. It depends. We've been in environments where the agents have been, especially, for example, in the utilities industry, where agents have been there maybe 20, 30 years, and they're very used to the old way of doing business. So in that case, there's more education required, normally showing them the benefits that they will be getting, just a much smoother call process. In environments where the agents aren't as seasoned, they haven't been around for 20 years in that environment, the take rate is amazing. It's just, we spoke at the beginning about how difficult the life is for an agent, and this really does make their life so much easier. So the take rate is really, and the acceptance rate is great. The agents do love it. In terms of procedures, we normally recommend putting a little pilot group together. Maybe it's 5 agents, 10 agents. Put a little pilot group together. Let them try it on a couple of live calls when you're out of your beta testing. Get some feedback. Get it going well. What you'll find is that those 5 or 10 agents often become your biggest ambassadors for the rest of the agent group. When they see how excited this group is, everybody wants it. So it serves 2 purposes. 1, iron out the bugs, and 2, have them be ambassadors as well for taking this to the broader contact center base.
Okay, excellent. Well, we're going to wrap up here in a moment, Chris, to allow our attendees to get back to their busy days. So our last question, a combination of a few questions here. Basically, they want to know, how is it priced and how can they try it?
Okay, in terms of the trial, hopefully I'm still sharing my screen here where you can just visit jacada.com and look for the agent scripting page. And actually, on that page, not only will you find a link to the trial, we put the pricing there as well. So we offer both cloud and on-premise models, so whichever works best for your organization. And then the cloud, both models are based on agent count, so it's going to depend how many agents you have. But certainly you can visit this page and get details about the pricing.
Okay, well, that's excellent. Well, this concludes our webinar on why agent guidance is now customer interaction design. Thanks again to Chris Dutoy, CMO at Jacada. If there are any other questions that we were unable to answer during today's session, we will respond directly to you after the event. We hope that you have gained valuable insight into customer interaction design and how easily you can utilize it to enhance your organization's customer service. A replay of the event will be available soon on Jacada.com along with the download link to the presentation. So thank you for attending today. Please visit us again at Jacada.com and have a wonderful day.